Part of the reason BMC thought that we needed to provide something new in the space is our lives are changing. If you think about it for a minute, even over a few years ago, how fast things are moving in our life. I use the term speed of life, where if you think about it on a daily basis and even in a personal nature, that we as human beings have increasing impatience, and everything is more and more available, or even what I would term instantly available. So that's what we're used to. If I want something, I can go online, request it. If I want it that fast, I can request it overnight. It's on my doorstep the next morning. So that's what we're used to as a life experience. And then we walk into work and we've raised the level of expectation as people when we go into the office space and with technology, that we're expecting that experience when we walk into work. Let me share with you a couple of statistics that I was able to find. Is over the last 10 years, attention span has dropped from 12 minutes to a staggeringly short 5 minutes. People watch YouTube videos in a few seconds to determine if it's even worth watching, and most of the videos that are watched are 10 minutes or less. News is received now in 140 character bites, or rather than sitting down and watching news for half an hour. The amount of Twitter users, where there's as an example, 1.5 million users that follow over 511 Twitter accounts. And there's over 500,000 people joining Twitter daily. From a Facebook, those of you who are Facebook users, people spend 700 billion minutes on Facebook every month. So they're used to that experience when they go home in the evening, and they're looking for something similar when they go into work. Almost 50% of people access email on a mobile device now. They don't go into Outlook on a browser. And additionally, Facebook users, when they are online, they're installing over 20 million applications every day. So that's where we are as a society right now. And what that does is, like I've said, is raises that expectation of service, where I'm looking for that same experience, or user experience, when I go into work every day. I want a interface that is mobile, like Twitter, social, like Facebook, back to my statistics earlier. Easy to request something, going on to like an Amazon.com site, searching for what I'm looking for, and be able to request that very quickly. Or service-minded on Zappos, right? Being able to get what I need and getting it right away. So you could see where we have empowered the user with our mobile devices, and that's what the users are experiencing from IT from an ongoing basis. So what we, as an IT organization, I was in the data center for over 20 years, and what we always struggle with is, how do we keep the lights on, how do we keep the factory running, but at the same point in time provide transformational projects to deliver new value to the business or to the business's customers, or providing new functionality to our users in IT. And what we're trying to do at the end of the day is boost up that customer satisfaction rating that we get from not only our internal customers, but for those customer-facing services and applications, being that trusted provider when they're looking for something. So that's just to level set where we're at and where BMC saw that information and that opportunity and said, you know what, we need to provide a user interface that encompasses those things that we've talked about. So what we did not intend to do during this webinar is provide you a bunch of PowerPoints. We thought it'd be more compelling to show you a live demonstration of the product so that you can see it live as we interact through several use cases.
This is the MyIT main interface. So what you're seeing here is the home screen, and you have a lot of information available to you. Dale mentioned to you about leveraging the trends that are happening in society as far as Twitter goes, Facebook goes, making it easy for like Zappos and Amazon. And those were the design principles behind MyIT when we put this together. What we looked at is, how can our end users consume information, and how do our end users want to interact with the service desk when they have requests or they need information? How can we empower them? How can we make them more self-sufficient? And that's really the drive behind MyIT. So what you see in front of you, the interface, I'll walk you through real quick. At the top, you have location information. So what you're seeing is the location where you're located. So when you're in an office, located at that office. Down in the bottom area here, we have our timeline. So the timeline keeps track of all the interactions that you have, whether that's interactions with the service desk from a request or an incident that you've opened, or it's interactions that you're having with other people. So if you're having interactions with your colleagues, you can share and collaborate, and it would show on your timeline. Off to the right, we have what we follow from a perspective of what do we care about. So in the top, you see people. So these are people that we've chosen to follow, that we interact with on a regular basis. Services are down in the middle. So so instead of today, you get bombarded with emails about about things being down. What if it doesn't apply to you? We sometimes change roles. We have services that get collapsed down. All of this happens, and from the services perspective, wouldn't it be great if we could follow those business services that impact us, along with groups and resources? So if there's a conference room that I use on a regular basis, or multiple conference rooms, for example, that we can follow that resource. So this interface gives you one-stop shopping for everything that you need, and I'll be revisiting this toward the end. What I wanted to start out with was, how would you start out with making a request for a service? So let's go into, I opened up the menu, and I'm going to go under support. And in support, you see that on the left, we have a few different choices. One is, I have a problem that needs to be fixed. So what you're seeing here are all the problem requests that you would typically fill out. So if you had a problem with something, this is how you would interact and request that a problem be solved. Now, this list can be defined for your organization, so you could say, these are the top 5, 6 that I want at the top of my list for problems, or you can do it based on how they're used. So as people submit problem tickets and they use your catalog to submit those requests, we can have that submission process basically rank those submissions. So you can say, I want this to be driven off what end users are asking for. So you can either define it yourself or have it driven based on how people use it. The I need something else is focused on the other requests. So whether it's doing a new hire onboarding, requesting a new corporate credit card, doing password reset. Again, same concept where you want to have your top items in the list, and you can rank them either way. I'd like to look at how-to resources is your look into knowledge management. So this is your ability to hook in knowledge management and have knowledge management presented to your users so that they can, again, start to do that self-sufficient request to see where things are. And then finally here, what we have is the concept of Concierge Service. So what you can do is make your service desk, and not just your main service desk, but this can be multiple service desks or services that you have available, make them available to your end users so that the end user can be empowered to make an appointment that works with both their calendar and the availability of the service desk. So what I'll do here is I'll make a quick appointment. So the first thing is I'm going to select that only show available times from my calendar. So the first thing it's going to do is check my calendar and make sure that I'm available. The location shows who I'm interacting with. So this is the service desk that I'm interacting with. So in our case, this is our service desk drop-off. So if you want to have your computer worked on, and I'm going to say that I need a memory upgrade. And then I just go in there and I pick times. So for tomorrow morning, what time do I want to drop my computer off, and I pick the time that works for me, and I go ahead and submit that, and now I've made an appointment. And you see that not only have I made the appointment and got that appointment confirmation, but I was also given the location information for where I'm going to drop that off. So you see that it's in the BMC Houston office on the first floor. And if I went and clicked on that, I can actually bring up the map. And I'll show you the maps in a little bit. But that just goes to show how I can be proactive and make an appointment with the service desk and make it that easy for me to do it on my time. Now, going back to the service request, let's start out with, hey, this morning I came in and I wasn't able to access email this morning. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and say that I can't access email. So what you're seeing here is information that was presented to me. So what I've put in, it's using all the words that I've put in to bring up how-to information. So you can see I have a bunch of knowledge articles. So again, I can try and solve the problem myself. And then you have your support request. So what are you trying to do from a support perspective? And in my case, I'm going to select that the email service is down. So in this case, I have a simple form that I'm presented. I can enter this. And say that I'm not able to access email. I'm going to go ahead and put the impact and urgency and go ahead and submit that. And right here I can see my SLAs. So you see that as an end user, I can see the time to completion is 1 hour. So I have an expectation as to when this will be submitted for me. And that request is submitted. And now I get an update that says the request is submitted. So when I have a problem, I can easily interact with the help desk and do that. Let me also I'm going to look for something else. I'm going to go ahead and order a new computer. Let me do that. Now, if I want to order a new computer, again, I have a lot of information available to me. I can go ahead and look through, and I see that in my support request, I have my ordered new computer request right there. Now I'm presented with the form like I was similar before. Now what you're going to see is this form can be driven off of what people are choosing. So you see the next question that I have available to me is, do I need a laptop or desktop? And then notice the question right after that is, which OS shall be installed? So I'm going to go ahead and select a laptop. And now you see that I'm presented with other questions. These are the questions that based on that selection, I'm able to make a decision tree and allow people to ask additional questions that align to that. So in this case, I'm selecting what model I want. And then I have my operating system. I can pick multiple applications. So in my case, I'm going to put, everything but SAP. I don't need the SAP interface. No special instructions. And I see that the time to complete it is typically 5 days. So I go ahead and submit that request. And now, as a manager, I'm able to order a new computer for myself, for my new employees, just that easily. So whether I'm having a problem, whether I'm making a request, I have the ability to do any of these items that we're talking about.